Did Jimmy Kimmel just make the biggest mistake of his career? Sylvester Stallone thinks so. When Sylvester Stallone steps into the ring, even late-night hosts aren't safe. Jimmy Kimmel thought he could take a few cheap shots at Stallone and walk away unscathed. Big mistake. Stallone fired back with a viral post that didn't just clap back, it obliterated Kimmel's reputation. Stallone didn't just respond. He went for the knockout, exposing the hypocrisy and arrogance festering in late-night TV. And trust me, Kimmel felt every single hit. It all started when Jimmy Kimmel, the late-night host known for his snarky humor, decided to take a jab at Stallone over his support for Donald Trump. Whether or not you're a fan of Trump, one thing's for sure, mocking someone simply because they have different political views is a cheap shot. But Kimmel didn't stop there. During one of his monologues, Kimmel referenced a recent event where Stallone had praised Trump, comparing him to George Washington. Instead of engaging in a reasonable discussion, Kimmel went straight for the punchline. George Washington was the father of our country, Kimmel said with a smirk. Donald Trump is the father of Eric. Big difference. Ouch. The implication? That Stallone was out of touch or just blindly praising Trump without any real thought. But that wasn't enough for Kimmel. He decided to twist the knife even deeper. He went on to joke about how Stallone's years of playing Rocky might have actually affected his cognitive abilities. I guess those punches Rocky took to the head were real after all, Kimmel quipped. Think about that for a second. He wasn't just mocking Stallone's political stance, he was taking a direct hit at a man who built his career by inspiring millions with the Rocky films. That's a bad move, Jimmy. A really bad move. At first, it seemed like just another night. On late-night TV, Kimmel thought he could get away with throwing shade at an action star and move on like nothing happened. But what he didn't realize was that Stallone wasn't about to let this one slide. Kimmel seriously underestimated him. Now, most Hollywood stars might have ignored it, laughed it off, or issued some generic PR statement. But this is Sylvester Stallone we're talking about. The man didn't build his career by playing it safe. Instead of brushing it off, he took to social media and hit back with the perfect mix of humor, sarcasm, and raw honesty. Okay, my big muscular friend? Stallone said in his video response, flashing that signature grin. I saw you the other night on Jimmy Kimmel, kinda making fun of me. Nah, does it bother me? Nah, does it burn into my memory like a horrible scar? Nah. Well, maybe just a little bit. Right away you could tell he wasn't angry, he was just disappointed. And when someone like Stallone calls you out, you know you messed up. But then Stallone did what only he could do. He turned the joke right back on Kimmel. I have decided to write a sequel for you called Stop, or Your Grandmother Will Beat Your Ass. He joked, referencing his 1992 film Stop, or My Mom Will Shoot, which Kimmel had previously mocked. And just like that, Stallone took control of the situation. He wasn't just reacting, he was flipping the script. Instead of letting Kimmel's jokes define the moment, he used them to expose something much bigger. How Hollywood's late-night hosts have become predictable, unoriginal, and let's be honest, kind of desperate for laughs. But Stallone wasn't done yet. In interviews and podcasts following the drama, he took things even further, addressing a much deeper issue, the growing culture of censorship in Hollywood. He didn't hold back. Hollywood has always been about pushing limits, but now it feels like the limits are shrinking. Stallone said artistry is being replaced by whatever's trending, and if you don't follow the script, you're out. He even pointed out that some of the films he starred in wouldn't have been made today because of all the restrictions and censorship. If Rocky was pitched today, it probably wouldn't even get made, he said. Taking risks, following your gut, that's over. That hit home for a lot of people. Stallone wasn't just talking about himself, he was talking about how Hollywood treats anyone who doesn't fit into their neat little box, and he wasn't afraid to call it out. Then came the knockout punch. Reports surfaced that Kimmel and his team had actually tried to invite Stallone onto the show, but only under the condition that they would have full control over the conversation. Stallone's response? He shut them down in the best way possible. I don't need to stage a conversation to get my point across, he said. If we can't have a real dialogue, then what's the point? Boom, game over. If Kimmel thought he was going to come out of this looking like the smart one, he was. Sorely mistaken. The internet wasted no time picking sides. And guess what? Team Stallone was winning by a landslide. Fans flooded social media, praising Stallone for standing his ground. People loved the fact that he didn't just let Kimmel's remarks slide, but instead used them to highlight a much bigger problem in Hollywood. One viral tweet summed it up perfectly. Jimmy Kimmel can joke all he wants, but Stallone built Hollywood classics. He deserves better than this. And here's the best part. Stallone didn't just win the internet. He was already thriving in real life. His reality show, The Family Stallone, was gaining massive popularity. Unlike the scripted nonsense on late-night TV, the show gave fans a genuine look at Stallone as a father, a husband, and just an all-around real guy. People weren't just watching, they were loving it. Clips from the show flooded TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, with fans sharing their favorite Stallone moments. Some showed his hilarious dad jokes, while others highlighted his deep, reflective takes on life and success. "Stallone is the real deal," one fan wrote. "Hollywood needs more like him." Meanwhile, things weren't looking so great for Kimmel. His ratings took a hit, and people started questioning whether late-night TV even had a place in today's world anymore. With audiences flocking to podcasts, YouTube, and independent media, scripted talk shows like Jimmy Kimmel Live were starting to feel outdated. And here's the reality. Stallone won. He proved once again that authenticity beats manufactured. Controversy any day of the week. People see through it. They know when a joke is just a lazy attempt to score points rather than actually being funny. And when Kimmel went after Stallone, it backfired spectacularly. Instead of making Stallone look foolish, Kimmel made himself look petty. And let's be honest, Kimmel's jokes aren't exactly unpredictable. His comedy follows the same tired formula: find someone who doesn't align with Hollywood's groupthink, make a joke at their expense. Wait for applause. Move on. It's not about discussion, it's about pushing a narrative. And audiences, they're getting tired of it. Even well-known media personalities like Megyn Kelly weighed in, calling Kimmel out for his one-sided humor. The real issue with Kimmel, Kelly said, is that he doesn't seem comfortable with real conversations. And she's right. Instead of bringing Stallone onto the show and actually having an open discussion, Kimmel reportedly blocked him. Yep, you read that right. According to behind-the-scenes reports, Kimmel and his team were afraid that Stallone might actually speak his mind about Hollywood's current state. So instead of letting him talk, they shut him out. That's not comedy, that's not entertainment, that's just censorship. And that's why in the battle of Stallone versus Kimmel, there's only one real winner, and it sure as hell isn't Jimmy Kimmel.